All right, welcome back to the Cuz podcast, episode
How we going,
13.
boys?
Morning, chaps.
Bright and early, lads. Like it.
That's 9:30 start for me, boys. In the PM, beautiful,
9:30
absolutely
p.m.
beautiful.
GMT
Friday
+1.
evening should be a few fucking espresso martinis deep. Instead, sitting here with you lads, enjoying life.
Yeah, well, I paid that price last night because
It's always disappointing. It's always I respect us for getting this done, and I respect us for putting our voices out there, saying that we are cutting into some serious, exactly right, and that's fine.
We're all
But at least
sacrificing
we're delivering the right sort of news out there for people to listen to.
it's what the people need, especially at this time.
And to
Absolutely.
be honest with you, we may be some of the first news outlets delivering the hot takes of the presidential debate. So it's one of those
I
ones you
highly
can
doubt
really
it,
get around.
but I respect the call, guys.
And do you want to just center your camera a bit? You're always just hanging off the edge. There you
We
go.
just got some yeah. You
Even
lined up for
Minor
us.
adjustments.
There he is, cuz. There he is.
Like on the last video, it's like, Cuz, me, head. It's like this video, like,
I'm just hiding.
It's a dream, boys.
Very professional.
Absolute dream.
yeah. Anyway, so the week's come and gone, and fucking, it's a couple of big headlines. First off, I didn't realize first presidential debate was happening this week, and also Assange just suddenly back on home turf. So all this shit just happened.
Free
out of
as
the
well.
blue.
Free as well.
Free man. Free man.
Like,
I had no idea that was happening now. That all
yeah,
happened so
I
quick.
think that was a bit of a shock, to be fair. That it just it went as quick as it did. I wasn't expecting it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I'd hate to be old K-Rudd on that plane. You would be shitting yourself. I don't know why they put the whole package on one plane.
Yeah. Yeah. It cost them nearly $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crowdfunded, wasn't it?
Yeah. You always chip in.
I think $20.
No. No, I definitely didn't chip in. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about the whole thing. I feel
Well, you
like
actually wanted him. You wanted him to be
Locked up.
sent to the US. Yeah.
yeah, strung up,
Extradited.
to see how he fares actually in the US. What he was doing was a bit extreme. I don't know how I feel about it all, but it is what it is.
Well, we've covered Assange extensively on the program. And
have indeed.
our long-time viewers know that me and Ed strongly support his actions, exposing war crimes in Iraq. Sure, hacking computers, you could make an argument that that isn't really exactly freedom of speech. But that being said, he still exposed some atrocities that were committed by the US in Iraq.
Yeah,
And he paid an extremely heavy price for them.
well,
Was he
not
gallivanting
really.
around Europe and sleeping with a lot of women? Possibly.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't
he
know
was
if
comfortable. He was comfortable in every consulate that he went to. So,
Yeah, apparently he did treat it like a bloody dump as well.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We've all heard
Yeah.
that. We've all heard that.
It seems the whole thing seems a bit extreme. I feel like he's just been on an extensive fucking 7-year holiday, just enjoying life for what
Just
it
the
is.
Euro tour.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Talking to both sides,
What are
they
saying,
seem to
Canberra?
be like
what's boots on the ground saying, cuz?
boots on ground Canberra. They're saying, it's kind of a happy medium. He served 15 years total.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Yeah,
both sides can be like, it's not what we wanted, but at least it's something.
you're probably right. It's not a happy medium, but it is a medium for everyone. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and he touched on
Belmarsh
Canberra.
prison.
Like, there's some extra icing on the top.
yeah.
Stuff. I
Yeah.
saw Patuta saying, take me back to the Ecuadorian embassy.
yeah.
His
Yeah,
sides.
look, you're probably not wrong. Actually, I was a bit concerned in coming back to Australia, but then I saw that he was landing in Canberra. I was like, whoa, probably not all that far off from Belmarsh prison, to be fair. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. So what's the future of
-5
Assange
degrees.
anyway? Is he just going to lay low with his wife? WikiLeaks 2.0? What are some things we can expect from him?
I think there's a lot of behind closed doors conversations with
Book deals?
all
Public speaking?
sorts of people. I don't
I
think
don't know, public
arrangements.
speaking is like you see what's happened to Boeing fucking whistleblowers. I feel like public speaking's out of the realm for him for a long time to come. You know, what's to stop the US just putting just the old rogue assassin in the mix just to shake the tree a bit?
I think it'd lay low for a little bit, go into
Yeah.
just wait for the dust to settle.
If Assange was
A little
speaking
bit,
at
yeah.
your university, though, everyone, every ANU, if Assange came down there, it would be a packed auditorium. Every man and his dog would be showing up. Like, he could line up some pretty high key speaking gigs. And I think there's a very big story to tell there, whether, you like him or love him or hate him.
But what sort of
It'd
stories
be
are
a
you
lot
going to
to hear.
tell?
Just, the chaos of getting, possibly having to flee to South America, just the chaos of unloading all of the WikiLeaks documents, the stress he would have felt at the time, and then just navigating an extremely complicated political scene with the US wanting to extradite him and parking up in the UK, and just how he managed to get his legal team in check. And at one point he was staying at that old Earl's place on, where even was that? It was like British countryside in some sort of old castle.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
For some, Aussie kid that grew up just as a computer nerd, he has definitely had a pretty interesting life. Even though a lot of it was just parked up solitary confinement. But a lot of that, I'm sure he would have spent just like contemplating things and getting his thoughts in check. Sometimes you need that. Lots
Do
of
you
self.
think he regrets his decision?
Yeah, that can only come from him, really. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he realised that he could have gone about it in a better way. I think he
He had
Instead
a
of
really
just
good platform, to be fair. And if he went about it the right way, obviously a financial gain could have been there, but also not having to be stressed for the rest of your life sort of thing.
just a blatant free for all information classified.
Being used
It's a
to
bit reckless.
take it and run.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the future for Assange. Like, what, he can't go into politics or anything. So, like, speaking gigs, is that going to be his financial
Yeah.
source of like?
Yeah,
stuff.
he will be limited in a few jobs that he goes to. So yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely.
I hope he does a little speech at ANU. I'll dip down.
Yeah. I'd
head on
absolutely
down?
see it. He might put a
down,
book out. Like, he's got all sorts of stuff he can line up.
Would you buy the
He'll
book?
be fine. I'd
You
absolutely
supporting him?
read his book. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'd
fair
have to,
enough.
guys. We'll do a deep dive on the Yokos. So
Ah, shit. I'll do the audio book.
I just hope he doesn't, do some sort of shitty Four Corners thing. Like, you know what I
You'll
mean?
see him on ABC in not too long.
he's going to be doing radio. He's going to be
Straight out
Yeah,
of
Kiss
Coffs Harbour.
FM.
There'll be some,
We'll get him on this.
there'll be some radio interview out of Coffs Harbour. Might even know the person that's doing it. Who knows?
He'll be doing the tour.
He'll be doing something.
He'll be doing something.
That's
I'm
it.
keen to hear what Delmarsh was like. They were only giving him 1 hour of recreation a day, and just keen to hear how bad it got. Like, was it just drool on a plate that he was eating?
Apparently it's pretty safe
overweight.
prison, to be fair.
Yeah, that's actually true. He wasn't.
One of the safest prisons
pretty
in
chunky,
the world.
Yeah, I think he was looked after pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And what's the chances of him ever catching up with his boy Snowden? 2 powers.
0.
Keep it online at
I'd
this
say
stage.
0 as well. I would say that the chances of them catching up is the chances of them both ending up being dead as well. I reckon there isn't 0 chance.
Cafes in Moscow, parking up,
Yeah.
reflecting on the good old
I reckon there'll be someone watching him for a while. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably.
ACL will have a pretty tight grip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised the US let him go that easy. A plea deal is like, just say you're wrong and then we'll let you go. I don't know how they managed to do that. I guess there's just so much happening right now with the election and stuff. They just
I think
wanted this done.
he's quite lucky that Biden was in.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Trump was in, maybe it would have been a different story.
Possibly.
Yeah. I think
Trump's
Trump was
a little
pretty
bit.
heavily.
He's a bit stricter on the treason sort of aspect of things.
Yeah, it might not have been as lenient. That's actually a very good point. All right,
It's a good segue into the old debate.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys sit down, watch it in full.
I'm gonna play a video for you boys. I know I sent it to you, but this for me sums up the entire.
That video you sent
debate.
to us was kind of at the start, toward the start of the debate.
It was
when
very
they're
good,
getting
though.
into.
There's not much more that happened after this, though.
Yes,
I'm just gonna play the audio.
The thing is, it will probably cut it out, but just play the audio. We'll see if it keeps it in the.
Let's just see if it works.
We'll see how we go.
Yeah, wait a sec. Give me 1 sec, lads.
Championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball.
Can you
a
hear
long
that
way,
voice?
And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good.
Just take a look at what he says he is, and take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I mean, I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. But by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest liability is a 6 handicap of all.
I was at 8 handicap.
You swing, I know you swing.
There's a few takeaways from that from the get go. Is that all right? Biden changes his mind from 6 handicap to an 8 handicap. It's very fast. All right. Second of all, is that Biden had a really, really good chance there to come back at Trump and go, "What the fuck does my golf swing / handicap / the way that I play golf have anything to do with the presidential race?" I think anyone in their right mind who was running for president would say that has absolutely no ability on the way that I run the country. However, he kind of argued the point, which really was disappointing. There was a real good chance for him to shut Trump down there. Instead, comes back and go, "I'll take you to the driving range, Trumpy, let's have a crack." There's no way Biden's getting out with a golf club in his hand. He's going to hit the ball about fucking 10 yards. And it's going to be a dismal showing. I just feel like that was the pinnacle of the entire debate. Trump answered absolutely 0 questions. He answered 0 questions. He was pretty disappointing in the whole chat. And Biden was what everyone expected. Absolutely.
We're running into the topics they actually discussed. It was the usual kind of mixed bag. And to be honest, it was pretty much the same exact, except for the Roe v. Wade discussion and opioid crisis. It was pretty much the same topics discussed in the UK debate. So starting with cost of living, Roe v. Wade, borders, foreign policy, racial inequality, climate change, and opioid crisis. And I mean, I think what got it for me, especially comparing it with the UK debate, is that it wasn't really a constructive discourse at all. It was just a shambles. They weren't really discussing anything. There wasn't really anything to be gained from listening to them speak. Like you said, Trump would say something, and then Biden wouldn't really be able to pull up an effective response. It wasn't even it wasn't even a debate. They weren't even discoursing anything.
Well, they both talked in absolutes, which killed the argument. They both said it's 100% incorrect, and Trump would say, "I've had the best in history for everything." So looking at the facts, it's like, well, Trump lied about all of this. It's like, well, he did, but he's also talking in absolutes the whole time. And so is Biden. So it's like, you can't have a constructive argument when people are both doing that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, and it got to a point where it was, I could see that in a way, Trump does have a bit of respect for Biden in terms of his full career. He's been around forever, and he's a true American patriot in that sense. But I think he doesn't really fully understand what he's doing, and that's kind of Trump's argument when he's like, "Joe, you're killing this country." Like, he doesn't even know what he's saying, and in a way, he kind of pities him because he knows it's coming from the right place, but he's just not fit for it.
He's gone on 4 years too long.
I didn't know. Yeah, and I didn't know they had the questions ahead of time. They had all the topics to discuss, because just listening to the audio, I thought it wasn't a horrific performance by Biden, but then watching it and seeing how it all played out, you really notice that you can see it in his eyes. He's just not all there.
No, they didn't get the questions. They weren't aware. They weren't told.
I heard
they
you
taught that at
the
the start, the ground rules.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No.
There's no notes. They weren't aware of the questions, and the mics would be paused, like turned off when it was the other person's turn, and there's no live audience as well. So
yeah, I know that. But
to be fair, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they did get a little
probably fed them
off.
through. Yeah.
When
Biden was like, "You've got the morals of an alley cat." No one's going to argue with that.
Yeah, that was pretty. He rattled off like 4 things there, and then Trump's like, "I did not sleep with the blonde stuff," and then just moved on. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, like they didn't really touch on Ukraine and what Trump was going to do with that. He just kind of hit home that it would have never started if he was in.
Yeah,
that was kind
he
of
said he landed in a date. He said he would just sit down.
As well, to be fair.
Just sit down and have a good conversation.
Zelensky, Putin, sit down. Let's say, all right.
He probably won't sit with Zelensky, but I would say he'd definitely sit down with Putin. Just be like, is this all worth it? Let's have a chat. I'll take you out for a beer. Let's just sort this out.
Yeah. So what have we been doing? Like, I've been gone for a little while. What's happened?
Yeah.
That'll be the key. Maybe. I think maybe.
What? We'll get it done.
But you're going to say it's 2 days. Yeah, 100% on 2 days, but maybe on 1 day.
Maybe a 2-day weekend. Seagal pops in.
Make a weekend out of it.
Seagal's the old fucking ace in the pocket for Trump. He's just got him back corner. Sit on the plane. If I need you, I'll call you out. Let's sort this out. Negotiations get nowhere. Seagal comes in. Call him in, boys. Let's sort this out.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was a bit disappointing, really. I was kind of midway through it, and I'm like, I'm not really learning anything here. This is kind of just unproductive and sad.
Yeah, it was
thoroughly
disappointing.
enjoyed it, to be honest. I loved it.
I thought it was fun.
I've listened to it on a run, and it was just like, you just hear them, they're like, that's absolutely incorrect, and that guy, what's the next person going to say? That's absolutely false. Like, I can't believe you can just lie like that. And it was just back and forth, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's just like, out of all the people, you got these people just going back, that's absolutely false. No, you're absolutely false. It's just like, we're not getting anywhere here. And they just kept hitting home the same, like, they came in with their points to prove, and I thought the interviewers did a good job of being like, okay, you haven't answered the question. You're just hitting home about immigration, or you're just hitting home about the need to be in NATO.
Yeah.
You got to answer this specific question. So I thought they did a good job. There's, like, I don't know how it's going to bode for Biden if they're going to make him step down. Well, apparently they can't make him step down. He has to be the one to say he's not going to.
They can just encourage him to. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, they... to be fair, I think Biden did better than I thought he was going to do. Like, I was reading all the news articles that were coming in, and it's like, it was a disgrace. Like, he did a horrible job. I'm like, how well did you expect him to do? Like, I thought he was able to stand for 2 hours and field questions. That was way better than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah. I did get that feeling when I was listening to it. Like, it's almost like, oh, you don't want to see him fail, and yet if he gets out a coherent sentence, you're like, oh, nice, like he did a good job. But then you realize, like, he is the president. We should be expecting a lot more. The fact that we're just hoping that he says something coherent is not a good standard.
You just hoping he puts a sentence together, and then
you're like,
if he does that, it's a winner.
That was kind of on topic, and it made kind of sense. Not too bad.
No, I agreed.
So,
agreed.
It wasn't pretty, and I was going, I kind of ran out of time, but I was going to go back and watch some segments of their first debate, because apparently there's a pretty stark contrast in just Biden, and you can really see a sharp decline. And you've got to keep in mind how he is now is the best is going to be for the next 4 years. So if he falls off the cliff, then if he's falling off the cliff now, then God knows what it's going to look like a few more years in. So,
very, very true.
It's not pretty. They've got a second debate coming up. I don't know if he's going to be able to deliver much more, if this is the best I've seen him. But it's they say these debates don't actually sway voters as much as you think. But I think if you're doing that bad of a job...
has there ever been that much of a one-sided outcome?
Exactly. Exactly. It's not really open to interpretation there.
But I also saw it was the last debate on UK soil. Final debate.
Yep.
Let's go with Let's go with the gambling. Because
what about it? Trying to cut down.
Nah, they're saying because they called the early election. They're all up in arms about the gambling debate. People were putting wagers on that they were calling an early election, and Suki's in the shit for it. But it seems like a pretty minor deal. But
maybe someone let it slip, and then someone's got a bit of a notification.
A couple of €100. Like, it wasn't anything major, but they just jumped on it. They're like, your party's in shambles. Yeah. It was interesting. It really took over pretty much the whole debate.
Yeah.
I didn't read
I might have watched the highlights of that one. It seems like from the polls they've kind of come out even from it. So it seems I actually quite enjoy their debates because they're two pretty smart individuals. So you can actually learn a lot from the way they present themselves and
it's good watching
have some sort of discourse.
Well, you can actually
the US, you really notice it.
Yeah.
Well, you've got two guys
that contrast study.
What are they, mid to late 40s compared to two guys in their fucking 80s. Well, what's Biden? He's in his 80s, right?
Yeah,
so he's 81.
80. What's
Trump? And Trump's 3 years
70.
younger. 77 or 78.
You've got literally almost double the age of what these two are. And they, you can really see it in their arguments.
Trump's still got quite a lot of figure. But
you
can really appreciate having some young men.
Yeah.
And we're calling them young.
Yeah.
Starmer.
But at least they're doing something. To be fair, I don't think that the difference though between the two is that whoever gets in for America is going to probably be a stark contrast to what it is now. Where in the UK, whether or not it continue to be Rishi or it's going to be Starmer, it's not going to really have any impact on the way that the UK moves forward for the next 4 to fucking 5 years.
Yeah, you've got a lot of pessimism with the state of Britain because let's bridge across. Let's just get into this doco because I think that's a pretty good segue. We can probably save sports for the end.
Let's do it.
So, did you guys sit down and watch Spider's Web?
I did, cuz.
I did. Rise of Britain's Second Empire, Spider's Web. Documentary came out in 2017 about the financialization of UK. So it kicks off looking at London City, something I wasn't really too aware of, but I'm sure, guys, if you've taken a walk up from Wandsworth along the Thames, you go just past Westminster, past Big Ben,
Yeah.
and you go over the Blackfriars Bridge, you'll go straight into London City.
Yeah. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I
Because
don't know if you've wandered around there. What's it like?
I
Boots
did
on the ground over there?
I did a Jack the Ripper tour there. Actually, it was quite interesting.
It's got all the old
Yeah.
Gothic architecture with
Yeah, it's not too bad.
with the new sky rises. So there's 8,000
Yeah.
residents there, right?
Yeah.
In London City. 8,000 people live
Yeah.
there, but 500,000 people work there.
Yeah. Just a central hub, because
Yeah.
don't
everyone
live
comes
there.
in, and then everyone fans out from there. I think the radius, it's actually quite a big radius, but it is literally all commercial buildings. There is very, very few residential buildings in that area.
Yeah. So the Romans originally conquered Roman Britain.
Yeah.
And then the fall of Roman Empire, rise of Anglo-Saxons. And
Yep.
then William the Conqueror came over from Normandy, and he couldn't conquer London City. That's the first point they make. So London City
Yep.
kind of stands outside from the rest of Britain
Yep.
because they failed to conquer the Londoners.
Did
So
we?
it's-
Did they go into? What did anyone do additional research on why he wasn't able to conquer it?
He couldn't overcome the Londoners. They're too fortified.
Yeah.
Okay, you just couldn't overthrow it.
Yeah, just
No.
simple matches of force, and they just so they never actually felt. So technically, London City stands outside of that, and its history still is more tied in with the Anglo-Saxons of the Middle Ages. So very interesting kind of tidbit of history there, and that's where the Bank of England's parked up, and because of that, it has its own governance, and they elect its own Lord Mayor, and which is outside of kind of the British democracy. So that's kind of where Spider's Web kicks off. It says this is kind of a strange part of the UK, this City of London and the City of London Corporation, because it's a separate entity to the wider London with its own mayor, Lord Mayor. So something I learned kicking off there.
Yeah, it was cool. Well, and those kind of old policies and kind of flow through to the other jurisdictions, right? That's why the Caymans they follow the same kind of financial rules and regulations as City of London.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so the Bank of England is at the heart of City of London, and that gives it kind of this weird, the way it can operate and function. It can interact with the British territories in a unique way that's kind of outside of normal democratic rule. So then they go into these British trusts and how fucking dodgy they are. And essentially dating back to the Crusades, where the knights would go out, spread the word of God, and they would give someone their assets to mind. So technically it dates back to then, but now it's just used to hide all your assets, hide all your wealth, and avoid paying tax on them.
Yeah, I didn't really understand how much of the Spider's Web the trust creates, how far you can. I didn't know you could do it across jurisdictions. You could have beneficiaries in one jurisdiction, the trustee in another, the trust holder back in London City. Like, I thought that was wild. I didn't know. I thought it at least had to be all in the one jurisdiction, and you could have multiple different people. But yeah, then you got shell companies coming in. You got assets. Like, I thought that was wild. No wonder you can't find anyone.
Yeah.
Nope.
The whole purpose of it is to hide identity and recycle offshore wealth. And it's kind of like the way it goes is that it's kind of like a problem that they created themselves, because these first world economies, US and the UK, were facing a crisis when they're losing all of this money because like they use the example of US and Vietnam, all of that currency was kind of falling through out of Vietnam and they weren't collecting it, and the value of the dollar was dropping down. So they tried to get Chase to establish the bank there. bring some of that money back in. UK tried to do the same thing when they were, leaving territory, leaving Hong Kong, Singapore, and all the rest of it. The sterling was falling dramatically. So the way they propped up their economy was having their British territories become very attractive for people to pour their wealth into. And that's how these all arose. So I kind of bit them in the backside.
Yeah, well, I didn't know like the extent to which that affects developing countries, how they don't have any kind of safe haven for any tax or financial like security, so they just dump it into these Western jurisdictions, and then like what they say, over $1 trillion annually goes into offshore investment. So it's like no wonder the developing countries' currency just is so weak continually. So
and they pay these huge fees to use the banks at Gibraltar and Jersey, and that's how they operate. So they charge these fees, but then you make it back by not paying any tax. So these banks are just making fortunes by instead of the government's making the tax money from these assets, it's just the banks getting all of the benefit, because instead of paying tax, you just pay the fees, which would inevitably be probably a lot less, substantially less. But that's what the government has created for itself, a system where people are massively avoiding paying any tax money, and it's because of the system they set up to avoid collapse of their currency.
It's a pretty smart play, to be honest. And
I was going to say it's fair play to them.
The Bahamas, that got shut down. Let's just move to the Cayman. So
Cayman Islands.
You just keep bouncing around different jurisdictions. And no one can stop you. I love the president, I think it was, of Bahamas. We've got absolutely nothing to hide.
Okay.
We are completely transparent.
It's just opposite day at the Bahamas, is it?
Nothing
done.
Come on
financial,
in. Expected.
A financial analyst or something in the Cayman as well. It's like, if you want to come over to the Cayman, come over. You can go through our records.
Party down
nothing to hide.
For an open book.
I can't believe it. Cayman has a population of 60,000 people, and it controls what was it, a third of financial investment. It's insane.
Fifth largest financial centre. 80,000 registered companies. Population 60k.
So every person in the Caymans has 1.5 companies to their name. Makes sense.
1.9
There are smart
trillion
people
in
down
deposits.
There are real smart people down there. The fish they're dragging in offshore, it's a lucrative business, that one, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Those fishermen.
Yeah. They do a mean harvest.
Yeah.
So, because did you actually understand what they meant about, like Henry touched on it there, but they said nearly $1 trillion offshore from Africa.
Yeah.
And so what does that actually mean? So they're saying they're in debt by like 100 billion, but they have nearly $1 trillion in offshore. No, as in
100 billion.
You know how you said that debt?
But
then the assets are nearly worth $1 trillion.
Yeah.
So on paper, how does that work, and what is the market dynamic of that? Because it doesn't really make sense in my head.
So you mean why on books they have 100 billion in debt, but they have a trillion in fucking assets offshore?
Correct.
I'm assuming it's got something to do with the government in Africa. That is the only way I can make sense of it as well. Is that or it's the interest they're making in offshore investments. Because I thought they were saying...
Yeah. Hen?
What did you say?
It was the kind of the major companies in Africa and all the mining and things like that. All the wealthiest countries are investing in offshore accounts.
Yeah,
to avoid
so the private sector have all their money in offshore. Okay. But does that mean the government and the public sector might be in 100 billion in debt from loans from different things?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
because
the public sector's
the
like
banks have
broke.
just no money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the private sector, no one's keeping their money in Africa where they'd be paying tax for it. So it's keeping them impoverished. And
Yeah.
that money is really just being circulated back to the Bank of England and financial centres in New York.
Well, it makes sense not to have anything in Africa because the dollars is so weak there as well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why
So
would you?
you want
put
it?
in?
You want to be offshore because
If you got hundreds of millions, even billions, you want to have a
Yeah.
decent currency that's not going to
Yeah.
just fluctuate like crazy.
because if you look at any sort of African currency, it goes up and down with the tide. It is very, very volatile.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they're not safe long-term investments.
No.
But I think that kind of drives home the point that it's like a secondary colonialization of these countries where they first go in and they enslave a population in Africa. And then
It just looks a
they
lot less
leave.
barbaric.
Yeah, they leave and then they keep them in poverty by taking all their money.
Yeah,
So
and
it's pretty
just-
insane,
it's just-
actually.
it just
like-
fulfills itself. Like
It's modern slavery.
the more people, people are constantly investing offshore, which makes the currency worse, which just drives itself to continue investing offshore. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know how you would ever really fix that until you shut down all the
even if you
jurisdictions.
look at Congo and with the cobalt mines and all of those other rare minerals, most of the mining operators are run by China. I think the vast majority. So they're taking all of the profits anyway, and they're not reinvesting it back into the African economy.
No. Not at all.
So the mining situation there, it's just the same old story, ripping off poor Africans and taking everything from them. So it's pretty depressing that the system they've set up is now extending into developed countries, and it's just the money's going where the money is best kept. So they've opened up these channels. The channels are there, and they're going to be using them to the best of their ability. But I think the irony is that UK, now that it's all just been financialized and they don't really have any manufacturing anymore, now they're seeing a great fall in their productivity. They're losing so much money on lost tax revenue that they can't reinvest it, so their infrastructure's like crumbling. So as a result, like this big deindustrialization of Britain is now affecting their own economy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people are a lot more aware of what's actually happening. The kind of wolves of people's eyes, the Panama Papers came out. People are like, all right, let's actually crack down on this and stop money just being dragged where they can avoid tax. So I think that's helping it as well.
But are they ever going to make these, like they make the point at the end with these trusts that the only real way
You're never
to
going to
stop
to
it,
stop that.
can you make them public?
No.
Absolutely not.
Well, I know Rishi would never make them
0%.
public because he's probably got a couple of trusts.
The thing is, you can't. If you make a trust public, then it literally voids the point of having a trust. The whole point of having a trust is to make sure it is private. So you could never ever make them public.
Yeah,
It'd
it'd
be
be
impossible.
huge. Yeah.
Well,
Like, that's what
the
a lot
other
of
point
people.
they
That's
made-
what a lot of people
Yeah.
when they go to divorce. Like a lot of people go set up these trusts so they can't fucking lose their money to divorce. Like, it would just the backlash would be massive. It would be absolutely massive.
What about the other point they make is stopping public councils from issuing contracts to companies operating out of tax havens?
Yeah, I think that's it.
You could absolutely do something there.
Because they made the point that kind of like the Chinese Belt and Road Initiative, where China's got that Belt and Road Initiative where they'll go to fucking places like Africa. They even had that bridge in Thailand, where they'll be like, "Oh, we'll build you infrastructure off a loan," and they've got the same thing in the UK, the Private Finance Initiative, where you need some sort of bridge or road or something, and they'll finance it, but then you pay back on a loan. but
Yeah.
it ends up costing them more. And it also goes through these tax havens. So the money isn't even circulated properly back into the economy, and it ends up costing them more tax dollars to build these infrastructure projects. So I think that's probably something that could be remedied. I'm not sure why they don't already do that.
I think if you looked into what happens with the superannuation funds in Australia, you would see something very similar happening as well.
All right, please explain, guys. Let's hear it.
I think this is a whole segment to itself, but if you look into what's happening there and how they funnel back into private companies that are based offshore, I think you would find that a very, very similar sort of situations happening with these massive trusts globally.
Yeah. Because I think another component would be is who's actually sitting on these public councils, and who's got invested interests. And I think if you looked into that, which punters are sitting there on those councils and deciding what contracts go to where, that's when it kind of gets out of hand. And that's where we kind of draw in a few family favourites. Hen might know a couple of the companies getting involved here. Now, Hen, are these companies just parasitic vultures wanting to just gobble up as much profit as humanly possible and screw over the country?
Are you going to start naming the big four, or what's to go here, guys?
Parasitic vultures is a good way to put it. I haven't heard that one. Couldn't agree more, Cuz.
You nailed it on the head, Cuz. Let's not go naming names and shaming
sitting
people
on
to
councils, we're sitting on committees, we're everywhere.
Yeah, and the whole idea is just to get these contracts, fatten them up as much as possible, and then make the profits.
Well, I mean,
that's it.
It's pretty
Cut and run.
standard across any private sector. Get a contract and make profits, but parasitic vultures it is.
So then they had this guy Dave Harnett, which was kind of the case study at the end. He's a civil servant, and he rose up through the ranks, and he rose up through the ranks into Her Majesty's tax. What do they call it? HMRC, which is their taxation body.
His Majesty's, yeah.
Anyone know what that stands for? All right. Anyway, so I was at the end. Dave Harnett, this the documentary's case study on this scumbag. So he rose up through the ranks into HMRC, and he was like the leader of the main tax negotiations. And he decided that a lot of these tax companies were, these private companies have paid too much tax, and that he was starting giving out refunds. So $1 billion refunded to the British Telecom. He said you paid way too much tax. And that obviously sparked quite a lot of protests in 2011. And when the Treasury questioned Dave, asking him, why you did this and yada, 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 he said he couldn't disclose the information to Parliament. However, the head of HMRC is allowed to disclose that to Parliament, but he just decided that he would say that. So this guy then settled from his public life to KPMG, and he became a partner, and settled in a nice accounting firm where he could use his political privilege and political connections to continue the pillaging of the poor old Brits.
Yeah.
Well, that's a parasitic vulture right there, because...
Well, the HMRC is His Majesty's Revenue and Customs Code, so it's the British government.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he started there, rose through the ranks.
Yeah.
And then from there, he went into the private sector. He retired from public office.
So he
wasn't
knew
actually
exactly
KPMG. He went into Hen's favourite. He went into settled at Deloitte, where he advises foreign governments on corporate taxation.
Yeah. Well, look, you don't even need to go that far to see what's even happened at PwC recently with with some of the guys in Australia who had to step down.
Yeah, let's circle back around to that, actually.
Advising their clients on what not to do and how to save money. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, so we had that guy from PwC. What actually happened to him? They brought him into the legal proceedings, and they what actually
he was in there. He was in there. He was in their tax. He was in their accounting division and was advising clients before something was about to happen to move your money around to be a little bit less harsh on your
trading.
On your bottom line. Yeah, pretty much. It's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah,
but he didn't get banned for that.
Insider trading.
No, yeah, he's just blatantly telling you that this is what's happening from the government because they had government contracts. So they were working for the government. They would find out, they would be doing the work for the government at the time, and then he would be going, okay, this is what's coming up. Let's change some aspects of the way that you're managing your money.
All right.
So no insider trading, just straight up, just telling them what's about to happen. Yeah. Not even fraud. It's just it's
corruption.
Yeah, corruption. I guess that's the best way of looking at it.
Yeah, blatant corruption. Well, yeah. That's actually a pretty interesting point you make about the supers, and I'd be keen to hear more about that from you guys, breaking it down.
Oh, it is my turn next week, so I'll definitely add that to the list.
Yeah. Well, all pretty. It's kind of they make it. I like the way they spell it out to you in the documentary. It's not really rocket science. It's just the system they created, and now there's a lot of fallout. And I don't think there's really I'm just thinking, is this just the future now? Where just the mega wealthy just don't pay tax, and the rest of the bulk of society and also developing countries just get pillaged and screwed over.
Yeah, absolutely.
100% seems that way.
Is that the future? Are we ever going to get out of this? Is that just something we're going to be stuck in forever? Is that the way the planet works now?
It'll be a revolution. That's what it'll be.
Yeah, I think we're stepping in the right direction with people becoming more aware of it. I think, like I said, the Panama Papers and things coming out like that. Everyone, before, no one even knew this was happening. So the fact that people are aware of it, that definitely helps to try and enforce things. But they had David.
They said the Panama Papers were good, but it didn't actually lead to much change. There's still Cayman Islands is stronger than ever.
I agree. Yeah. It is better than nothing.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to ever stop it. But I think...
But it does mean that there'll be more legislation that comes in that is trying to curb it at best. Yeah. There will never be stopping it, but there might be a chance to rein it in a little bit.
People are always going to find financial loopholes. You're never going to be able to stop that. Well, even if you shut down the Cayman...
If you're good, that's your whole fucking... That's your job.
Yeah, that's
is to try and find it.
Until you cock it up.
You're going to get paid a lot of money to do that, so...
So now all the young people just want to become bankers and just find ways to pay as little tax as possible for the companies they work for and their board of directors.
It's already very lucrative.
Want to become a banker,
really all people
want to find a banker.
Because there's no point going into any sort of manufacturing or any sort of trade because you're just going to get ripped off and the cost of living is just going to be unaffordable for you.
I disagree. Unless NVIDIA, for example. Manufacturing with NVIDIA over in Taiwan's quite strong at the moment. So manufacturing has still got its place, but it needs to be in the right area.
In Taiwan.
Yes, the bankers still need money to invest, so they rely on manufacturing and people for them to get their money. You can't all just become bankers.
Well, now we're all just speculating real estate, trading foreign currencies. No one's actually making anything in the UK. There's no manufacturing there. That's what's happened. So that's what I'm saying. It's where it's all just, and then it's just drug money, taxation money. Is that just all the economy is now? And then we just let the developing countries.
Agreed.
we're going back to like the Stone Age where we're just trading coins. No one's actually making anything, and we're just screwing
Gold's
each other.
quite strong at the moment, cuz.
Commodity is still quite strong. I think
Yeah,
manufacturing
it's just
has it
speculative
down to-
assets.
Yeah. It'll come
so-
good again.
I think it's. I just
You're not
don't
happy,
really
guys.
see. I'm not happy
He's
about
not
this
happy
at all. We once had strong countries making shit, and now we just have a bunch of bankers squabbling around
What happened to
over
all
coffee.
this fucking manufacturing
you
around the
want-
world? It's all gone.
You want
Like,
another
every
industrial
day used to make
revolution?
fucking steel, and they used to make ships,
Yeah.
and they used to fucking get things done.
To be fair, when I was in Sheffield for
Shipbuilding.
two months, and I went to where they used to make the stainless steel. The fucking shit they're pulling out of there was absolutely incredible, and now Sheffield is a complete another shithole. It
Yeah.
is just gone. It's collapsed. And that is most of the UK at the moment. There is absolutely zero mining going on in the UK.
Yeah, you look at
And
Birmingham,
so, 'cause
and they
I
can't
can- I
even
can
keep
s-
the lights on.
Yeah. They need the Peaky Blinders back, guys. That's what they do need.
But I'm just like saying, like all these fucking wankers making money for the mega elite, and, like that's just
It's nothing
it's
worse.
just
guys.
shit. Everyone's just a
Nothing worse.
fucking pussy banker now, and no one's got any backbone. No one can make anything.
I
And they're
couldn't
all
agree
just
more, guys. You can spot
swapping
them,
shit
spot them
around.
from a mile away as well. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
And-
nothing worse.
I just think it's
Everyone's just
depressing.
turning to baking. You don't
Everyone,
think shipbuilding's booming at the moment with all the world politics that's happening? Look at
yeah,
Australia.
because have you seen
so
the
how-
amount of arcs that are being requested to be built right now?
So how is that manufacturing going to work in an industry that hasn't made any steel for like nearly 100 years? Is my
They can
question.
just ship it across. It's cheaper.
Yeah, so they ship
Cheaper
in
to
the
get it
steel.
from places that they're still mining still.
So it's like an IKEA like flat pack.
They ship
Is
it
that what you're
across on ships that are already made, put the steel on those ships, bring it across, build the ships, and then you just repeat the process, guys. It's cheaper, but you're still mining the steel. It's
We
just
still
not coming
have
from
steel
your country.
manufacturing as well.
Exactly right.
It's
Who's
not we don't have
manufacturing
any
it?
steel.
It's
Well,
China.
to
We
be
have a
fair,
lot
the
we have a
Dutch
lot
are
of
one of
steel
the biggest
manufacturers.
ship. Yeah, the Dutch are one of the biggest shipbuilders in the world, guys.
But we send our coal abroad.
We're not going
And
to
then
start
we
making
br-
ships
we get
if we
the-
don't
we
have
get
the
the product
capabilities
back.
to. If we're not going to put out contracts to build ships if we don't have the capabilities to do so. We want to keep it on
Yeah,
hands
you
and
will,
legs, so
because
as
you
much
make
as
the
possible.
contracts and
What
you make
coal?
the money,
What
and
are
then
we
it
getting
doesn't
back
matter.
from coal, guys? What are we getting back from coal, guys?
I don't know. We're not even
well,
making money off it because no one's paying tax on it. Fuck knows what we're getting it from it.
So you just think we're shipping coal offshore and then that's it? We're just getting nothing back. It's like, here you go,
Pretty
please.
much.
Have some free coal. Because
Everyone's just become bankers, and it's all it's all just trading Bitcoin. That's how the world's
everyone's a banker right now, because that's it.
They're all just become a pussy bankers. That's
Everyone's
Yeah, I
got
don't
their
know a
puff invest
single.
on.
I don't know a single like manufacturing industry in Australia that's a viable investment.
what?
Name one.
Cuz
Cuz.
I'm keen to hear your takes on it, lads. I think it paints a pretty bleak picture. And is there any way out of this for the UK? Is my question.
Is there any one? You cut out.
Is there any way out of this for the UK? And what are their options?
Well, they could get back into the EU. That's one option.
Will they take them back?
Or the EU take it back. No, there'll be some serious begging going on, but I do think so. To be fair, for the EU, it's beneficial to have a fairly decent. I know they're not the financial hub of the world anymore, but they are still a big financial hub. So it would be beneficial for the EU to have them back.
Yeah. It would be insane if that actually happened.
Yeah.
That
would
be
actually
so
be
funny.
insane.
Yeah.
Lose so much credibility.
I reckon give it. I'm going to say 7 years. I reckon it happens in the next 7 years.
So would that curb the kind of immigration? The EU have tighter laws on that, but it seems like if they could sell it, that's a good way to go about it.
Well, What do you mean? Like the immigration throughout
getting
the
back
EU
into getting back into EU will help us control immigration to the UK.
for Australia or for
No,
the
for the
UK?
UK.
I don't think so. I think the way they're controlling it now is probably a stronger way than having, like, just a standard EU sort of broad spectrum passport that allows you to get into every country. I think that has not helped the UK in immigration.
Yeah, okay. So it could actually make things worse.
Yeah, but that's just one aspect of the entire thing. It's that immigration. If you think immigration is destroying this country, then I think you're dreaming. Like, there's a whole host of things that are actually destroying the country.
They keep harping on about it.
I know, but like they're pleading to the majority voters of the UK, because it's not a compulsory to vote in the UK. So you're going to have a whole host of people that don't vote in the UK. It sells very well to people that actually do care about voting in the UK.
Yeah, okay. That's why Trump's talking on about it as well.
Exactly right, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, chaps. Well, thanks for tuning in to the doco. I think it's opened up a bit of a can of worms.
It's painted a pretty bleak picture.
It just tells us that bankers are taking over the world, and it's right, Cuz up. And to be fair, I like where you're coming from, Cuz. I like that you're getting a bit of backbone on this. You're getting a bit heated about it.
I agree, Cuz.
I like to see the emotion and the passion there, Cuz. And I think that's for me anyway. Next segment, episode 14, I might lead into the super, and let's really get you rolled up there, because you'll see some real dodgy stuff happening on that side of things.
We'll take a deep dive into Australian super, and I'd also like to carry on the manufacturing component and
Let's
look at the ins and outs of this shipbuilding. Is it all just accounting firms making cash money off these contracts with no real prospect
they
of
don't
anything
actually build
being
ships
built?
anymore, Cuz. It's just bankers. Bankers are
They're just signing deals, making
not
money,
even
and no
building
end results.
ships.
Like, Henry doesn't know the first thing about shipbuilding, but he will happily sign a contract to make millions and billions of dollars.
Guys.
But he can't build a ship.
I already know what Cuz is there just signing these deals, pretending that they're building these ships, but in reality, they have no idea how to build these ships. They've got no people boots on the ground, knowing what's happening. I'm with you.
Yeah, they don't know jack shit about building these ships.
Back here.
Toss me a hammer, lads. Give me a hard hat. I'll get
They'll
boots on
happily
ground.
get dressed up in suits and get you to sign some fucking millions of tax dollars over to these fucking companies.
Absolutely.
And then be like, yeah, 10 years these ships will be built. I'm like, how are you personally going to build this ship?
There's no ships being built, Cuz.
You personally.
Where?
Yeah, I need answers from you personally.
Where's your wear on your hands, Cuz? I need to see the wear on the hands before I believe a word you say, Cuz.
I'm not asking the workers, I'm asking you personally.
Just the bankers of the world. They're not even building shit, Cuz.
Take the time
building
off,
nothing.
get a hard hat.
Yeah.
Show me around the fucking shipyard and let's actually see what's going on back here.
Yeah.
It's got to be a lot of fucking bags smoking
Put the steel
darts
cap boots
and
on
just
and
jerking each other off.
show me where you build these, Cuz. Honestly, that's going to be your segment, Cuz. 2 weeks, you've got literally 2 weeks to come up with a site where you're building these ships. Otherwise, I don't believe a word you say anymore, Cuz. I'm calling bullshit on you and all your bankers. That's it for me.
Yeah, it's all these fatso bankers sitting around playing Nintendo.
I'm not a banker.
Because you're a banker, right? You're a straight up banker. I need to see where you're building these ships, Cuz.
You win all your banking mates.
Yeah. If you guys are not fucking steel cap boots on the ground, I'm not buying into your shit anymore, Cuz. I'll start the revolution myself.
Yeah, they've ripped us off too many times.
Because it's just ridiculous. There's no manufacturing anymore, Cuz. Zero manufacturing. You just hate
There's no honest workers out there. They're all just trading coin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, alright, I'm happy with that. Let's move on to sports.
Alright. Let's move on to sports, Cuz.
So, speaking of manufacturing, Kings of Manufacturing, Germany, probably going to win the Euros. Is it decided already? What are your thoughts?
I disagree. I think Spain's got a lock on the Euros at the moment.
Spain, it's looking pretty good in Group
And I
B.
think, who was it that bet against Argentina in the Copa America?
Me. I'm going.
Yeah, because that was
going
like,
against them.
To be fair,
Uruguay.
I think
Uruguay
it's
is
going to
gonna
be it'll be a Uruguay-Argentina final. That's what I'll back in there.
Yeah,
Quite
Brazil.
happily.
They
Uruguay 5-0 yesterday, I think it was.
Yeah. They got buddy Suarez.
And Nunes.
Yeah.
They have got a solid team. Yeah, as getting back to your point, because Euros, it's definitely going to be a Spain final. I actually reckon it's going to be a Spain-England final. Just because the left side of the draw is a lot more difficult. Like, England have the breeziest draw to get to the finals that you'll ever see in your life. It is England, and I think their second hardest competitor is going to be fucking, I don't even know, Austria or someone. And then Portugal. On the other side, Portugal is on the other side, so it's Portugal.
Oh, they with Germany and that.
Yeah, with Germany, with Spain, and with what was the other team? Fucking Italy as well. So you got Italy, Spain, Portugal, and Germany on one side, and then you got England versus nobody sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm keen. We're getting into the pointy end now. I'm keen if England can actually get it to fucking.
I'd love to see England get through to the final. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
That would be insane.
And then you got the T20 World Cup final happening. India, pretty convincing win over England. I think that was yesterday as well, actually. Very, very convincing win. Never really sweated it at all. So it's going to be an India-South Africa final.
Yeah, so last time the South Africans won anything, it was the Com Games. And I think that's the only time they've ever won something. So
a lot to play for them.
Yeah, pretty depressing for old South Africa, but it'd be good if I'd like to see him get up.
I'd see it hard, pretty hard pressed for them to get up, but
I think it's pretty much impossible, but I would love to see it.
It would be good to see. It would be really good to see, but I don't think they're going to be beating India, unfortunately. Australia, pretty disappointing from them, actually, in the T20 World Cup. Really didn't do anything. Yeah. They started well, finished fucking poorly. Didn't even make it to the semis in the end. And England, who started so poorly, did make it to the semis, so I don't know. You don't know how it works, but anyway.
That's pretty much a lock for India. You know what? I actually wouldn't be too upset with that. They're going through some rough times right now, and I think
India deserve it.
Yeah,
you know, it's their really only sport that they play, and they're impressive, and they have a lot of respect for the game, which I do like to see. So
yeah, well, good to hear that, because good to hear that. I wanted to actually have a bit of a deep dive into the F1 because I was only getting, I know I'm late to the party here, but I was only getting my head around the new 2026 regulations. And the more I look into it, it's like some huge changes. But anyway, Barcelona, Norris did pretty well. He really ran it to Staps, couldn't hold out. But looking pretty competitive this season now.
He is. Yeah,
but what the hell's going to happen in 2026?
Well, you got a new team for starters. Audi coming in.
Audi's coming in.
Yep.
And what's prompted all of these changes? So, just to summarize, they've got a whole new chassis. It's going to be 30 kilograms lighter. They've changed the fuel, so it's going to be run on 100% sustainable fuels. And then they'll have this X mode and Z mode of the cars, which will change the aerodynamics of the car and allow you to do overtaking when in need, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
What's prompted all of this, Cuz, and why is it coming in?
I think they do that a fair bit. Like, so, not last year, but the year before, obviously, there was a massive upgrade that came, and cars completely changed to what they were for the previous probably 6 years, to be fair. So you've had these massive changes. I think people, this last year's change to the car promise, more overtaking, didn't really live up to what they were expecting. The cars were ultimately slower, which was supposed to be leading to more overtaking. However, it didn't really work out, especially when you have one driver just 20, 30 seconds above everyone else on every single race. Obviously, it's a bit closer this year. McLaren have caught up. Norris came out yesterday saying he actually believes he has a chance of fighting for the title this year. I don't think so. Verstappen needs to finish second every race and he will win comfortably, sort of thing. So, I don't.
They're
think
really
he
banking
is,
on a Staps fuck up to make that happen. Which
if
he's
Verstappen,
got the track
if Verstappen
record of being extremely consistent.
He does, yeah. He'd need to lose a couple of crash out of a couple of races for him to have any sweat on, I think.
Yeah.
And Norris, as good as McLaren are at the moment, there's no Perez wildcard because I'm shocked that Perez got extended for another year. To be fair, with the option for another year after that, that was just ridiculous. But anyway, I don't know. Whatever's going on at Red Bull, it's pretty shit. But it'll be interesting to see what happens at the mid-year point, and I think that's next week or even this week. I think that Newey's out, so he leaves middle of this year.
Okay. So
he's gone.
He's officially gone to Ferrari.
And it would be. Well, he hasn't officially gone to Ferrari, I don't think, but he's definitely out of Red Bull at the middle of this year. Be interesting to see what happens to Red Bull's performance, if there is any repercussions to them at the middle of the year.
Yeah, all right. Well, big things. Big things coming.
Very big things.
Olympics, Sha'Carri, sorry. So she got 10.7 seconds in her 100-meter dash, which is just insane. So that's catapulted her into the Paris Games. And just to put that into context, that's 1 minute 40 pace.
That's sorry. You cut
She's her 10.7 second time equates to a 1 minute 40 pace.
Yeah, I mean it's a sprint, but 10.7. Why are we focusing on her so much? 10.7 isn't crazy for an Olympic.
It's the top female time so far.
Oh, it's top female. Oh, okay. All right. Well, when you broke it down to kilometers, that makes more sense.
Well, how about
100
this?
meters in 10.7 seconds, but yeah.
A 1 minute 30
140
kilometers. That's incredible.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah.
Hey, well, what sort of distance she managing that over? Because just 160.
So if you do that over 100 k's,
Easy.
you'd be done in just under 2 hours.
That's pretty quick. That's quicker than what you do your 100 k's in, right?
Should beat you, Cuz.
Should be
I think
up
she's
there.
got you covered there, Cuz.
And then if you look at the 4 minute mile, because a lot of people say that that's the professional standard for middle distance runners, is breaking that 4 minute mile. And that pace equates to a 2 minute 29 pace for 1.6 Ks.
Sorry, Cuz, what did you say? You just got
You
out.
keep breaking up.
Right, so the 4 minute mile, Roger Bannister's famous 4 minute, he was the first man to do that. And now heaps of people have done it. That's classified as the professional level of a middle distance runner. So the pace to achieve a 4 minute mile is 2 minutes and 29 second pace over 1.6 Ks.
Okay.
That's pretty quick.
So-
That's quicker than I thought it was, actually.
So what are you boys averaging anyway?
Well, I don't think I've ever run faster than a 3:15 pace. I think I don't you know what I mean?
For a sprint.
What does that
for
work out? What does
800
that work
meters.
out to kilometers an hour, Cuz?
Well, Sha'Carri's was 36 k's an hour, running at 10.7 seconds, and I think that that 4 minute mile pace is 24 k's an hour.
And so what, you reckon you could manage that?
I don't know. Hen?
For 1K, yeah, I reckon.
Well,
you can do that.
1.6 because it's 1 mile.
Yeah, but yeah, but I reckon you could do that.
So you think you could
when
break
was
the
the
4
last
minute
time you
mile?
ran? Yeah, I think I could. When was the last time you ran under 5Ks?
That's a big call, cuz.
I reckon I can.
That's a huge call, cuz. Do you know how many?
It's like a
fucking-
sprint.
That's a sprint on the treadmill for 1.6
it's a
miles,
sprint.
from 1.6 fucking kilometers.
It's an all-out sprint. It's a double
And
800.
how athletic do you really think you are?
Holy fuck, cuz.
A 4-minute mile is like a Navy standard. It's like it's not unattainable.
It's not
It's
a
like-
Navy standard. It's an Olympic. It's a professional level running level standard. Only like
It's a
1,000 people have
professional.
ever done it. It's not
Oh,
some.
alright, cuz.
It's
Wait,
not
what
some
am I thinking
cakewalk.
of? I swear
It's a
it's
2
maybe
minutes
it's a 6 minute
29
mile.
pace.
It's a sprint, cuz.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
a
but you're
sprint
doing
is
that
a
for
sprint.
1.6 kilometers.
I reckon I've got a chance, lads.
Cuz.
I reckon I've got a chance.
Alright, I'm adding another topic to my segment next week. I need Hen to set up his camera on the treadmill. We're going to set it at 25 kilometers per hour. And he's going to
Treadmills
do
don't
that
go
for
up that
1.6
fast.
kilometers. Well, it's the fastest treadmill he ever been
They
on.
go up to 20s.
What?
I've got one of
That's
those.
it.
I've got one of those ones that you
What do you
sprint
mean?
on.
That's it. 20 k's an hour is
So-
fucking
so-
fast for a trip. That's dangerously
So
fast.
you've got a sprinter though, cuz.
But
Yeah, I've got a
Hen,
sprinter.
have you got something
I've got a
special?
Yeah.
track.
Okay. Sweet. All right.
Yeah,
cuz.
you can't really do it on the treadmill because at those speeds, you're just hopping up and down. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we
You
need
got
to
to
get
be
him
on the track
track.
with the wind resistance.
Okay, so can we get you out on the track, Hen? This time next week.
Get out the track. Yeah.
And you're gonna
Alright.
hurt
Wait,
yourself.
I'm just trying to look up the Oh. Okay. Yeah, jeez. The
Easy,
1.5
cuz.
mile run must take no more than 12.5 minutes.
Yeah, cuz.
Yeah, you're looking at
You'll
this
do
some
that- you'll do that
stupid
in-
Navy
You're
beat
gonna do
test.
that in
like-
4 minutes, cuz.
and we're talking 4
You got this in
flat
4
minutes.
minutes. 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
4
4
minutes,
minutes,
guys. You got this.
1.6 clicks.
1 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy.
It's the all-out sprint.
You got this,
Yeah,
cuz.
I don't know why you think you can sprint 1.6 k's all of a sudden.
Cuz can do it.
229
I believe
pace
I was,
is...
I was an
Have you
animal
ever
at
run
the
in the
800.
twos?
Yeah, because I've done the 800
Cuz-
multiple
Yeah,
times.
it's just a
800s.
double 800,
It's
cuz.
just
Yeah,
it's a double
easy.
800.
What's your
It's
best
a double
800
800,
time?
cuz. It's a
Is
double
that
like a
800.
minute and
802
something?
minutes?
He's
It's
got
like
this.
minute 55.
It was never a minute 55.
No, it's
He's
about
got
a minute
this easy,
55,
cuz.
cuz.
It was like 5
He's got
minutes.
this.
5 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest
I'll
with
get
you.
to
I
the
feel
track.
like Cuz is a bit jealous of your speed here. I
Well,
don't think
well,
Maxi. I
You're
don't
a
think
long
Maxi can do
distance,
it.
cuz. You're a long
Yeah.
distance. You always have been. You've never been the sprinter.
You can't do
You
the
always
sprint,
have
Cuz.
been. Always will be.
Well, I'm keen to actually make this a thing where every year we can get it on the track, whether it's GC, Sydney, Canberra, some sort of athletic track, and we can see how far, how
There's a
close
track
we
in
are
London, Cuz.
to
We
the
could
4
get you
minute
over
mile.
here.
Yeah, let's
London,
get down to the
I'll
London
take
track.
London as well. We get it on the,
I
we get it on the
to be
books.
fair, boys, I might have a crack as well. I reckon
get
I
the
could nail it
spikes.
in 5.5 minutes. I'm going to say.
Well, everyone's gonna have their
5.5.
baseline.
Yeah, I'll stick to 5.5. I'll be realistic. And you're at sub 4. Maxi, what are you
Okay,
sticking to?
Heads cracking 4s.
Easy. I reckon if
Well,
Hen cracks 3s, I
yes.
wouldn't be surprised.
It's the all-out sprint, lads.
If he's going sub 3s, I would not be surprised.
Backwards cap and just head down.
Yeah, just in the
That's it,
trackies.
cuz. So what are you going to try and set here, Maxi?
I don't know.
What are you going for?
I honestly have no idea. I think that a sub 5 I'd be extremely happy with.
Alright. Well, get out there this morning, have a crack, cuz, see what you can do.
But I'm keen just to see how close, like, what time an all-out flog 1.6 clicks, like, what... Because I've never done that before. Like, I've done Fast 5, like a park run, but I've never done just 1
Yeah.
mile, all out, throw everything at
Yeah,
it.
just
I'd
give it
be actually
everything,
quite
yeah.
interested to see... I don't know. It would be
You
interesting.
need a full warm-up. Like, you need
Yeah.
to be primed to just empty
You can't
the
go
tank.
out cold.
There's no
I think
settling zone.
I'm gonna be heading out cold, please. There's no warm-ups here. I'll be gassed at the warm-up, so I'm just gonna head out cold. Just have a crack. See how we go.
Yeah, you want to be going in from, like, burpees, flutter kicks, and just go...
Yeah,
bang.
smoke check into the 1 minute mark.
Yeah.
That's the
So
easy
UFC's on this weekend, lads. Pereira
Okay.
Big one.
Here we go.
Big one.
versus I can't remember. Hey, Croatian dude.
Who are you taking,
He's-
Cuz?
You got to go Pereira.
You going to take him for TKO or submission?
I'll take him second round TKO.
Second round TKO. Okay, interesting.
Prokaska. Okay.
I might
Yeah,
have,
Prohaska.
I
That's
might have
What's
a
the
crack at that
lightweights?
actually.
Yeah,
That's
Brian
a lightweight.
Ortega, Diego Lopez. That's going to be a good fight. I think it's a tough one to call. Lopez kind of the new up and comer. Ortega's the kind of veteran. Hasn't fought in a while though. And then you got the light heavyweights. Anthony Smith, who's just washed, versus the new up and comer. They're kind of feeding him to the wolves a bit there. Ian Machado Gary versus Michael Page. That's also a great one.
Okay. Voters.
Ian Gary 14-0. He's like the Conor McGregor cut copy, Irish, bullish fighter. Michael Page came over from. He was like the champ in the other organization.
Interesting to see what the
Baltimore or
bookies
something.
have to say about the Pereira fight, Cuz. So,
What are they saying?
all right,
What are they saying? 'Cause-
you've got by submission, Pereira at $26, and
Yeah.
Giari fucking $11. By by decision or technical decision, so makes it to the end, $8.50 for Pereira and $11 for Giari, and then by knockout, $1.95 for Pereira to $3 for Giari. So they're definitely feeling like this is definitely going to be a TKO knockout sort of situation.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to the ground, and I don't think it's going to make the distance either.
No, he's actually never won a fight by submission before, Pereira.
Yeah.
Nuts.
And Pereira's like last 6 fights have all been like first round KOs.
Yeah, okay.
Is it
Interesting.
And also, why
Interesting.
is this Ian Machado Gary? Why does he have the middle name? Well, yeah, where's that Machado?
Yeah, he's like
Is he related to them? Is that legit?
nah. Yeah, I think he's got some sort of Portuguese.
He's Brazilian.
Yeah. It's Brazilian.
That is
I don't
Irish.
know. Yeah, I don't
No,
know.
but he fights out
I
of
don't
Brazil.
No, but as in, is he related to the Machado family? Like, is that name?
I don't think so.
What's going on? I'm on his wiki and
uh,
it doesn't tell me anything. I thought maybe his wife, but I don't know. It doesn't tell me.
He got absolutely crucified by the whole UFC roster because his wife wrote a book on how to become a wag. And
Nice.
so that's his
That's what
wife,
Jay
and then
Seekers.
his nutritionist is his wife's ex-husband. So
Yeah.
everyone's
okay.
calling him a cock.
Not
And
pretty.
There you go, Cuz.
he had to pull
There
out
you
a
go.
few fights. That's good.
Disappointing.
That's a shame. Well,
Getting back on topic as well, boys, just with the sports.
yeah.
What do we think of Atani as well? Out of the MLB.
Oh, I saw briefly.
Highest paid sportsman of all time, starting to smack some home runs as well. Pretty interesting. He's going alright at the moment.
It was all the hype in Japan, that's for sure.
Yeah. And now
Everyone absolutely
he's
loves him.
he's kind of living up to his name now, like, well, to his price. To be fair, he's starting to
Fucking hell. So how much do they
fair
actually end
crack.
up paying for him?
That was the highest
An annual
contract,
contract?
sports contract in forever. I forget what it was, like 100 mil a year. It's something ridiculous. He got
$1
pretty much a
bill.
$1 billion contract, I think.
Wait, he beat out the Saudis.
Yeah, I think so.
Fucking hell.
Shohei Ohtani. I'm pretty sure he's the highest sports person for contract of all time.
Well, that's good to see that he's living up to his hype. That would
Yeah.
be some serious pressure.
Yeah.
Getting the
$1
$1
billion
billion contract.
10-year contract.
Yeah. So
Just
I think
had
it's the
elbow
highest
surgery.
just the highest contract of all time. But now I've watched a few of his games more recently.
Yeah.
Obviously playing for the Dodgers, he's having a fair crack. He's living up to his hype.
So
He's
Dodgers
getting a
is
few-
they are our official team then.
I think, yeah, we're Dodgers fans.
'cause- yeah. Obviously, dark horses of the group. You never see him coming.
Added to the Celtics.
Long term
Celtics, Italy,
Dodgers fans.
Yeah. Just add it to the list, cuz the Staps,
Pretty lion.
just all the dark horses of the group. You never think they're gonna win, but sometimes they do.
Yeah, they pull it out.
And who's that? By the way, I didn't ask who's our NRL team. We haven't actually established that.
Oh, it's the Raiders, guys.
I'm going.
It ain't the Raiders.
I'm sticking with
It'll
the
never
Broncos.
be the Raiders. Sticking with
gotta
Bronx.
be the Broncos.
I'll accept that. All right, Bronx.
You're gonna
Yeah.
go Titans, guys. You gotta go Titans.
Nah, I
That's
still
actually
think the
true.
Bronx finish higher than the Titans. But
Yeah,
yeah,
of course.
you're a
Fuck the
GC
Titans.
I think the
cuz.
Raiders,
GC
the
cuz.
Raiders finish higher than the Titans.
Yeah, they will.
I see the Titans fucking every night down at Cavill.
Khan Pereira, he is an absolute fucking gun. As guns go, he is pretty good for
Yeah,
the
right.
Titans.
He's the one to watch. Also,
Right,
going into Game 3, lads. Speaking of,
Yeah, what are we
Yeah.
taking here, guys? Oh, did you end up doing those transfers, guys?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got two Scotties, so one of them got $100.
I didn't
okay.
hear that, guys.
I've got Scotty Nab and the other one. I don't go to Scotty Nab because that's not the right one.
Oh no, guys. Yeah. I trust that you've done the transfers. I just thought, just making sure.
yeah, do you do
But
my transfers?
I don't know what I don't know what account you wanted in, so I just picked one.
It's all good,
I'm
guys.
heading out.
And yeah, you guys got
Just
the
straight cash
transfers.
transfers. Yeah, you gotta love it.
Well, for
it
Game
poor
3,
picking
I'll
from
be
you,
going
cuz.
back to Maroons. Yeah.
Well, you're
So
going
you're
back to the
in,
Maroons.
You're in home state.
I'm gonna take the Blues. Actually,
Yeah, happy
I
with
think
that.
the Blues.
I'll go Maroons and Maroons first try to double down.
I'll take Blues and Blues first
100
strikers.
We're doing 100
What do you-
apiece. Wait,
Oh.
did we do 100 piece last night?
Yeah,
we
but
did.
then it cancelled out, and then you guys made some money off the side bets.
Yeah. Well, me and Maxie did 100 piece, and you were in it for the 50s piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, where were
I
you?
was in it for 50s. I was out in
Yeah.
the trails.
Just the fast pineapples. You called it quits pretty early on, cuz.
Yeah, you
Wow.
could have made some money.
Yeah.
They actually ended
You
up
just
getting
needed to
some-
run it.
Yeah.
You needed to run it for 2 more bets, and then you would have started bringing in some money.
Yeah. All right. Doesn't sound like I would have broken even anytime quick.
Probably not, cuz.
It would have been a tough night, but still.
Just an
Gonna
out
be
of the back
interesting.
rat tables, cuz.
There were
Let's
a few
close it out.
times.
Golf. Jason Day going to Paris, and the two siblings.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the two Lees are heading there as well,
Yeah.
Good to see.
and GC local, Amy Yang. She won the women's
Yep.
PGA.
She's going in.
Nice.
She went to Rabina State School, cuz
We're just around the corner,
probably around the
cuz.
same time as you, actually.
Probably.
You probably
Just
would
around
have
the
crossed
corner.
paths.
Would have seen her out in the course. Wonder if she might have actually run into Donald Trump at one point. You never know. Donald
okay.
Trump. I wonder if he's going to be going in for Australia. 2-time championship course winner now. Not too bad.
Who's this?
Donald
DT.
Trump. Yeah. He wasn't playing in the seniors as well, but he did win 2 titles in just all grades.
Yeah,
2
Yeah,
championships.
credit to him.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't
Playing off
just
his
seniors.
handicap, of course, but it wasn't just seniors. It was good
Wasn't
to see.
just seniors. Was
Yeah,
not
he had
just
to be pretty sharp.
seniors.
All ages.
All right, chaps.
He could
well,
be
anyway,
representing.
next week, Ops week. What are we looking at?
Yeah.
Pretty
All
good,
right.
guys.
I think let's get into numbers, cuz. Let's just fucking tick that box.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, we've got Hen on track. running the sub 3, sub 4, depending on how he's feeling.
Just a cakewalk track.
So that might actually be a pretty cool cross. So we'll get that going. Obviously,
get
touch
on the
base
icy
sports.
tracks, 6 a.m. track.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, 6 a.m.
Slippery.
on the track. Like, probably pump up his time a bit. Obviously, you perform better in the cold, so that'll work well in your favour, Cuz.
yeah.
We'll get touch base on the supers as well.
Yeah, I'm keen to. Yeah, you can take a lead on that, Cuz, and just tell us what the status super is in this country.
Let's just go for a deep dive into the supers, Cuz. Get our hands a bit dirty there, and then just obviously world news headlines.
Yeah.
Let's see how we go.
Well, numbers is pretty extensive as well, so we got a lot to
Yeah,
get through
it goes. I think we're looking at around this time as well, another hour and a half episode. So gear up, boys.
Yeah.
All right, chaps.
So
Sounds good.
Cover.
Can we also touch on manufacturing?
Absolutely, we'll throw that in. Throw that in.
Specifically the ships. I want to hear.
Well, the bankers getting their hands dirty on the shipyards. All right, we can do that, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where
that sounds
these
good.
ships and subs are coming from? Who's building them?
Yeah.
And is it? Are they just pumping
which
on the tires?
which bankers are out there? We'll name names. We'll see how we go.
Name names. All right, chaps.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Well done,
Talk
lads.
soon.
All right,
Well done.
boys, take care.
Cheers, lads.
Look after yourselves.